Welcome to Impossible 2. So, for over a year now, I collected glitches, tricks, and general absurdity of jumps and put them together into one map here. And I now issue this as a challenge for everyone. During 3 weeks, you're gonna try and beat this without my help. This is a community work, so everyone should work together to try and figure out how to solve everything. It's not going to be easy, but I'm sure you can do it all. So a lot of you probably think this is going to be too difficult or I'm not smart enough to really help. But first of all, the difficulty isn't really standard difficulty. You're not going to see Elphix jump in this. You're going to see very weird things. But sure, it's going to be difficult and not everyone can really do any solution and solve or beat the jumps. But you can definitely help, because even if you think you're too stupid or you don't have the brains or anything for doing this, I'm gonna promise you there's gonna be solutions in this that are way more stupid than what you can think of. There's some stuff in this game that's just too ridiculous. So yeah, you can definitely help, and just trying things, go in game, try random shit. It's gonna help. You're gonna find something, some way. That's the only way you're gonna solve this, is just try things. So, and even if you can't really do anything about that, you can even just hang out in specs and try and see what others do. Maybe you can notice if something weird happens, because you're gonna have to work together to solve this. But yeah, and finally, try and take demos of everything, because yeah, it's good to be able to rewatch and share things if something happens. But so, general rules about this is, yeah, nothing special about this. For it's your usual rules for a jump cup or anything like that. Few things to point out. I may update this if any cheat or anything stupid. I probably have missed some trigger or anything like that, and I will update it. And if this cancel a run, that run will be removed. If not, that run will consider be allowed. It's not going to be forced to have the intended solution, but if something stupid or mistakes or anything that's too easy, I'm going to fix. And if you're scared of doing runs, you can always ask me if a trick is or will be fixed if you have found something, just to be sure if before you do a run. But yeah, outside that, important to remember, don't use anything with multiple players involved, especially not healing, because there are places you can take damage, and healing people will invalidate the run instantly. And finally, offline will be allowed, because yeah, there may be people with too high ping or otherwise issues to play, but I don't recommend it. It's way better if you can play online. But yeah, let's go over a few settings. First off, gear settings. You're not allowed having weapons, and you cannot bring weapons to others, so the gear code should be set for no weapons. There are weapons in the jumps that have weapons, and you're not allowed to bring them to other rooms. Well, most rooms don't need weapons, and if you play offline or something and have a weapon in them, I'm not gonna care, but if you bring in a weapon, the room that requires weapon is gonna be banned. And then a few things. So CG Ghost needs to be set to 1. That's specifically just for one jump. But yeah, that's nothing special. There's, I believe, only one jump. But if you have it to 0, that jump will not work. And it's not about the players, though you should set it to 1 to not block players. Then this one is probably sounds weird. Auto pickup needs to be set to -1. This is the default value though, so if you haven't changed this, or probably if you don't play frag or anything, you're not gonna worry about this, but it needs to be set to -1. It only affects one jump, or maybe 2 jumps, I'm not sure about that. And also, frame rate is, everything is tested for 125. I don't have any low frame rate jumps. Going higher than 125, I kind of consider cheating. It does help on one small trick, very minor, but yeah, I'm not gonna go and ban anyone running higher frame rates. But yeah, 125 is the intended for everything. And about binds, there's no special binds. You don't need to use the bind because there are commands like this that runs other command or custom commands, but you may require binds you don't normally use in jump mode. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So let's just continue here. So for the map itself, it's gonna consist of 12 waves and one secret you're gonna be able to find. So you have these 12 waves. Everything is a run, and to be able to get a clear on one thing, you need to complete that run on that. That's the only way I'm gonna consider a way cleared. And so for the whole map to be considered cleared, beaten, you need to get a run done. At least one person on every run. It can be 12 different persons on 12 different runs on all the ways, but at least one run per way. That way the map will be considered beaten. And if you're worried about the original where the runs was quite impossible, they only had one run, but still running the ways was more or less impossible. This time I built everything around the idea that you should be able to complete runs on them, and they have proper checkpoints set out so you can respawn and everything. Additionally, there are no, should we say, time wasters. The original had a bunch of ladders and other shit just intended to waste your time. This one doesn't have anything on that. Instead, all the ways are somewhat themed. Some ways are obvious what the theme is. Other times, you're not gonna notice it until maybe you find the solutions or stuff like that. But yeah, it should be way more consistent with ways. There's also, even if there's only 12 ways, the original had 20, there are in total more tricks. There are more difficult tricks, I would say. There's some stuff that are directly evil, so yeah, good luck with everything. But yeah, there's also the final point before we move on. In this map, I wanted to focus on design more, as you may notice. And also, I didn't want to really be limiting myself with how I did the tricks. But I also don't want stuff to be hidden or secret. A secret trigger isn't a very good solution to everything in overall, so I'm gonna try and go over all the different rooms, or jumps, they're not really rooms anymore, and try to showcase what there is important to know. Stuff you can find if you look in the .map or the shader files, or general information about the ways. So let's go and start with room way 1 here. So this is way 1 here. Looks simple. The one thing here, if you turn on triggers, which yeah, you should use Jump Client if you wanna have all the options, it's definitely recommended. And if you play offline, you definitely need this. So we have the start trigger here. This here is a filter. If you get the checkpoints, you can see here I've got checkpoints on all this, and then an end there. One other thing to notice is this outside line here has over bounces allowed on that, while the inside doesn't. So take that how you want. But yeah, that's way 1. That's all the information I give you there. Way 2, here we're gonna go first off and showcase the ladder. So if I turn on ladder render, so here we have the ladder texture. This is the general ladder texture. You're gonna see this on other places. Moving on, we have this red here, which is indicated it's a no-go. It can be solid, it's trigger, it's just it's blocked, it's no-go zone. And then here we have more ladders, which is a bit hard to see because of the lightning. There is different textures on this. You can see it kind of, but the lightning makes it a bit hard to see. But yeah, there's ladder there, and then there. So that's room 2. Oh right, the end there is no grab as well. That's worth noticing. The way I done no grab is through a shader that blocks grabbing. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to get any buggy grabs, things like that. Room 3. So here you have a weapon you can find. The room automatically gives you ammo, so it should constantly refill in a slow pace. There's 2 things here. This room has 2 buttons. One button is up there, high up in the sky, and another one is inside here. So these are the buttons. These 2 are linked, so they do the exact same thing. They're linked to push entity, will push you up when you hit them. If you go around and find this is just ammo refill, so you can ignore this. But yeah, that's about it. This is proper checkpoints for all the steps in this too. Room 4. In this room, there's honestly nothing to really note what. The only thing I can make, this wall should always be slick. Only wall I think I have a slick, so that's worth noticing. But yeah, there is ladder on this. That's all for this one. Room 5. You're only gonna be able to see this if you have the proper client there, that there is over bounces. Okay, it doesn't show. Oh right, I turned off the jump pod. But yeah, there's overbounce there. There's another overbounce. You can also see it with jump pod turned on. That's about it for this. This room here. Also, there's nothing special there. There's water. That's about it. Room 7 is a bit of a weird one. So you have a weapon here you can grab. Should be able to give you ammo. You can get ammo here. There is some really weird. This is one where you need auto pickup set to -1. So Here you have this lane, there's a bunch of knives in it. What they do, you have to explore yourself and all. The one thing I want to showcase importantly down here is the button here is in the roof. You shoot this button, that will teleport you into the next room, which is here. Here you have one of the weirdest buttons in the game. This is a button you can hit with shooting, but it also have no impact. That's it. You have some nades there. And this button here will send you into this room clearing. That's so. It's a very weird one. Room 8. The one thing to note here is the starting line is here, but you can, so you're free to set up saves before the starting line. That's true for all rooms. You can always, as long as before, you're free to do any setup saves or anything like that. And alright, yeah, there's overbounces on this floor here. So this entire floor has overbounce allowed, and I think that's all. That was room 8, room 9. Room 9, yeah, there's nothing going on to explain here. Room 10. And yeah, this one has some stuff to explain, but I'm not going to really showcase anything else, because this one is a really special one. This features an entirely new thing, which I really hope people can at least go and try out. I don't want to do any spoilers for this, because it's a really cool trick. So yeah, but this is a trick. If you're going to check out one thing, not so much for, if you don't want to play Impossible, but want to see a really cool thing, try this one. It's the first jump, at least, it's kind of made as an introduction to this new thing, but yeah. No spoilers on that one, but it's a really cool trick. Then that was 10, 11. Here we have, this is gravity on this, and this is slick. There is proper checkpoint entities. I probably should showcase them, because you can easily miss. So the checkpoints, the first checkpoint is here, so that's quite important, and they have point respawn, but yeah, you get up here, you can find this checkpoint here as long as you get up. And the second checkpoint is here, and then this over there. And then the final room. So here we get introduced to this, there's the correct button, this blue. What this is, yeah, I'm not gonna really go into deep detail what is this, but it's very special. This is one I know for sure you need ghosts at 1 or it won't work. But otherwise there's proper respawns on this. So checkpoints, and here is the first checkpoint you were wondering. And yeah, another thing about it, you can see there's a lot of triggers inside the walls. In this design where you see this is using mirrors. This is gonna cause sometimes bugs with the design where the walls isn't loaded in the mirror. So what I've done is I forced walls to become entities, setting them to a func static or func wall, which means this render will show them as an entity. That doesn't mean there is a trigger inside, so the trigger render can be inconsistent on that side because of that. But it is there to make the design work. So yeah, the trigger render can be a little bit inconsistent, so that's worth noting. And I think that's about it for this. I just wish everyone good luck, and I hope you can beat this in the 3 weeks which I've given as a time span. So good luck.